Hello friends, this is Heidi here with Kiddo's Corral and welcome to my channel. Today is a snow day, another snow day, which excites me, and every time it's a snow day I am more than ready to bake. I don't know why. So much for New Year's resolutions of losing weight, because we're going to make some homemade crescent rolls today, and I'm going to tell you I got everything laid out to film this because it is a time-consuming recipe to film. However, to make it is not. And I'm going to say this, if you've ever made real from scratch homemade crescent rolls, it takes hours. Why? Because you are needing tons and tons and tons of butter into them, and that is what makes them flaky. This recipe, you do not have to do that, and it comes out, in my opinion, incredible every time I make these crescent rolls. So be sure to try this recipe. I will try to remember to link all of the amounts and everything down below so you guys can copy and paste the recipe and have it on hand when you get ready to make these. I cannot wait till dinner tonight because there's nothing like a homemade crescent roll. So I put in my yeast and my water in here. Okay. There we are. Make sure you get all that yeast in there because it's very important. I'm going to go ahead and add my sugar. It's a 1/3 cup of sugar. There we go. It's 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Go ahead and add that in. It's 2, 3, and 1 more is 4. Okay, I'm going to add in 1 egg and 2 egg yolks to this. And anytime you add eggs in a recipe, it just means that your bread is meant to be very, very rich. And that is exactly why we love, and I'm looking for my salt, here we are. That is why we love crescent rolls, because they are buttery and rich and wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to add in a teaspoon of salt. And I'm getting my salt out here because I'm running low and I need to fill this container back up. But we got our salt. I've got my oven preheated at 375 degrees. And all I'm doing, other than making a complete mess, all I'm doing is I'm just allowing the oven to heat, and then I'm going to allow this to rise once I knead it and everything in the microwave above my stove, because it's only like 14 degrees outside. So I'm having to turn on the oven for it to be nice and toasty for this dough to rise today. So it's kind of a win-win. I'm heating the house and I am getting something out of it for supper. So I'm going to go ahead and allow this to knead because I have a couple more ingredients I have to add, but we're going to go ahead and let this mix up for a couple minutes. Okay, so now that our dough is all mixed together, and I've got a little bit of flour here on my paddle, so I'm just going to brush it down. It'll be fine. I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of cold butter and 1/4 cup of cold vegetable shortening. And you want to make sure that it's cold because this is what is going to give these crescent rolls their flakiness. And you guys are going to have to forgive me for being a little bit raspy today. I have no idea why. I'm still, I guess, getting over, pardon me, a little bit of my bronchitis that I've had. So forgive me on that. I'm going to lock this. I'm going to let this butter and shortening mix in with the dough. And then we'll come back. We'll get this ready to rise. My dough is completely kneaded, and I'm going to show it to you guys. And you're going to see little chunks of the cold shortening and the butter, but that's actually going to melt as it rises. So what you're looking at here is a glass bowl that I have oiled with some olive oil. scraping my dough together, and I'm getting a little bit of that oil on my hands so that my dough doesn't stick to me. And I just want to put it in here in this bowl and get it all out. And it's going to be tacky, but that's okay. And I have to tell you, when I first made this, I was like, this is no way this is going to come out. I have never seen crescent roll dough look this way. And the first time I made it, I was just so impressed by what it looked like. I was so excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of pushing it into the bowl. I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap and a towel. I'm going to allow this to rise for an hour or so above the stove in here in my kitchen while it's nice and warm and toasty. And then I'm going to show you guys the next step when I come back on how to create these into beautiful crescent rolls. We are back, and my crescent dough has risen beautifully, and I'm really happy with it. I am going to roll my dough out on this cutting board that I purchased from IKEA. I use it when I make my breads. I absolutely love this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to cover your surface with some flour, because obviously you don't want your dough to stick. And we're going to half this dough in half. So I'm just going to grab half of it out of the bowl and put it onto my board. And then I'm going to cover the rest with the plastic wrap so it doesn't dry out. Okay. And I'm just going to knead this a little bit. Just a little, not a lot. You don't want this dough to get overly floury, because if it does, then it's not going to be the way you want it to taste as far as a crescent roll is concerned. So I'm going to grab a roller, a rolling pin. Just trying to make sure that I'm good and not, going to stick. All right, make sure you guys can see this good. Okay, so I'm going to put some flour on my rolling pin, and I just want to roll this out into about a 12-inch circle. Now, if it doesn't seem like it wants to roll out, because see how it kind of, goes back in? Give it a couple minutes, it'll be all right, it will work with you. You just have to take your time rolling it out. Once you get this crescent dough all, rolled out, sort of like a pizza, like a 12-inch pizza, you want to cut it like a pizza. So I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut it in fours. And then each piece is probably, and if you don't cut this perfectly, it is okay. Do not sweat it. They all come out delicious. So do each one about 3, I guess. I could have did this one a little bit better. I still can. Just pinch it together. There we go. That's more even. Okay. So I have a cookie sheet beside me covered in parchment paper, and I'm going to show you guys how to make these crescents. So make sure that you guys can see me good in the video. So you want to start on the outer edge and just simply roll inward, just like so, and then place the seam on the bottom of your cookie sheet when you place it on. So all you're going to do is just roll it up, just like so. This is the one that I kind of messed up a little bit, but that's okay, because when it all comes out, it'll come out glorious. Just going to roll these up. And then you're going to leave them on your cookie sheet to rise a little bit longer before you bake them. And before I bake them, I kind of put a little bit of melted butter over the tops of them. And I know you can't see my pan right now, but once I get all these rolled up, I will show you my pan, what it looks like before I put it, you know, over on the counter to rise. This recipe makes a good mini, so if you have a large family, this is an excellent thing. Leftovers are wonderful. Just store them in something airtight like a Ziploc bag. They're great with breakfast, for lunch, side with dinner. They are the bomb. And I'm going to add this little piece in here. And I'm going to put it on the cookie sheet. I'm just separating them a little bit so that they have room to rise on here. I'm going to show you guys what they look like now. That's what they look like on the cookie sheet, and then once they rise a little bit, I will come back and I'll show you what they look like before I put them in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and roll out the second pan and get that ready. I'm about to place these in the oven. I just brushed them with some butter, and they should take between 15 and 18 minutes at 375 degrees. You will know when they are done because they are nice and golden. 15 minutes, and they just came out of the oven, and I'm going to brush them with some butter. And you'll notice that when you brush these with butter, that it basically will absorb the butter, and that's what's going to give it the flaky taste. But see, they're all different sizes, but they all baked up beautifully. And I've got my second pan in there, and I need to set my timer now that I'm thinking about it. And I've got my cream of chicken going. But I hope y'all enjoyed seeing this video for my homemade crescents, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. There's going to be a lot of recipes this year, and I don't want you to miss out. And thanks so much for watching. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching this. Thanks for watching Kiddos Corral. Bye, guys. Second pan just came out. And we are good to go. And whatever leftovers you have, just store them in a Ziploc bag, and they're great for the next couple of days. I love these with scrambled eggs, and I love these with all my dinners. They are delicious. I can't get enough of crescent rolls.